right. Hello, everyone. I'm Amanda Olson from Intimate Rose, and I am joined by Vanessa from Pelvic Hep and Michellle, who has become the telehealth guru of physical therapy. And she is going to enlighten us on how to optimize telehealth in these changing times. And I think that probably our practices are never going to be the same. Even when things go back to being the same, I think that we're all going to have this beautiful gift of having access to telehealth, which is going to be just an invaluable treat to all of us and to all of our patients in those moments where maybe they cannot come in and we have this other way of reaching them. So we're going to talk today about how we can optimize a telehealth practice. And then I'm going to talk about how to use tools and devices to help guide your patient in some self-treatment so that they can make gains and reach their goals, even in the absence of being able to have manual therapy and a full exam. It will never replace our ability to do those things, but it's going to get us through in these times where we can't. And then Vanessa is going to tell us about her beautiful platform and how we can easily disseminate home exercise programs to our patients via online. So, Michellle, can you get us started and tell us how do we go about, you have so many resources and this conversation could easily be like 3 hours long, but how do we go about starting or optimizing a pre-existing telehealth practice?
Absolutely. So, you know, it's interesting because one of the biggest problems with telehealth is people's feelings that they can't do it. And so one of the things that I tell every clinician is you can do telehealth, but first and foremost, understand that it is just another avenue for you to offer benefits to your client. You know, maybe it's a busy client. You know, I know we are in the midst of the corona epidemic right now, but maybe it's a busy client. Maybe it's a mom with a sick kid. Maybe you're trying to mitigate cancellations. You know, maybe you are up north and there's inclement weather. So whatever it is, know that this is a tool that allows you to deliver quality care to your clients. It's convenient for them. They don't have to take PTO when they normally would and things of that sort. You know, it's a lot easier for them to perform. That being said, the biggest thing I tell clinicians at this point in time is, do you want to just get through corona? Or are you in this for the long haul? And the platforms that you use are really going to be, you know, based on that. So if you're just trying to get through right now, you can continue scheduling as you currently are. And then maybe utilize a platform like Zoom. Since the federal government has lifted HIPAA regulations, utilizing a platform like Zoom is perfect. Most people are comfortable with it. Just about everybody knows how to use it. It's simple. It's easy. You know, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and record the session for your client so that any information that you've given them, they have access to, they can go back to, whether you go through a workout program, you know, exercises, the instruction, it's all there. Saves you some time because now you don't have to go through trying to write out stuff. But you can, the cues that you would have used would have all been there for them. The other thing is to consider is if you don't want to just do this for right now, if you're really like, you know what, I've done a few sessions, this is easier than I thought, I really want to continue with this, then you need to start looking into other platforms. Again, Zoom does have a HIPAA compliant version that's about $200 a month, and you'd have to pair that with a scheduling and payment platform. But ultimately, you know, we're all assuming that the HIPAA regulations are going to go back in place once this is all over. So now you're going to have to make sure that you are covered. There are a plethora of platforms that clinicians can look to, from doxy.me to CoView to ClockTree, IntakeQ, Simple Practice, PT Everywhere. There are quite a few of them. What I think is important to know, you know, because everyone always asks, well, what platform should I use? What should I, you know, it's all a matter of preference. You know, we as clinicians know there are some of us that might love WebPT. There are some of us that might not like WebPT because we can't stand click boxes. You know, there are some of us that might like, you know, if you're in the hospital setting, you might love Epic. There are some who might not, and that's the thing, right? We all have our preferences. So I would recommend look at the platforms, play around with them. Pretty much every single platform will give you a trial period. So utilize that to see what the features are. Sometimes there are things that you think you might need, you really don't need them. Sometimes there may be things like, oh, I gotta have it, brand new, shiny, but you don't need it. So look at the platforms, play around with them, look at things like ease of use, ease of scheduling, ease of payment. Do you want your clients to have to call you so that you can schedule? Because maybe you're OCD and you want control of your schedule. Or do you want your clients to have that autonomy and you just set the parameters for your day? I'll take clients between 9 and 3. They can schedule then. Or maybe I'll take telehealth clients between 9 and noon, whatever have you. But then it gives them the opportunity to go ahead and schedule whenever they want to. And, you can set it in such a way that maybe, they can't do a same day schedule, but they're able to go ahead and schedule, and you can still have some control over your calendar based on the parameters that you've set. The other thing to note is right now we've got so many things changing and changing fast with regards to the insurances, with regards to what's going on. And I think, for those clinicians who are insurance-based, do your due diligence. Every state is different. We could kind of sit here and run through different states, but Blue Cross Blue Shield of Vermont, I know through a friend that they are they're paying for telehealth. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia may not. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama might say, yeah, we'll pay, but we're not going to pay at the same rate that we do in person. So these are things that we need to know. The biggest thing is contact all the insurances that you're credentialed with. Make sure that you ask them if they cover telehealth for physical therapy. Make sure, because they might tell you, yes, we cover telehealth. And then you go try to get reimbursed and get denied because they're like, oh yeah, only for physicians. So make sure that you're specific. Do you cover telehealth for physical therapy? Great. If you do, what codes are you covering? What codes are you going to reimburse? Do I need a modifier when I use those codes? Do I need specific consent, or do I need specific documentation in there to support that? Does it have to be a patient-initiated visit, such as the e-visits? Or can I do this with patients who are not already prior established in my care and in my clinic? So these are the types of things that you want to ask just to make sure that you cover your butt. And also just to make sure that when you do go to seek reimbursement, you can get reimbursed, because nobody wants to be all excited, yay, I've got some money coming, and then no, I have no money. So you need to make sure that you get those questions answered.
That's excellent. And then just off the top of your head, do you know, what would 1 month of Doxy.me cost? Just to give a ballpark.
So Doxy, they have a free version, and then they have a paid version. The paid version is $35 a month. If you use the code JMMHealth, you can get 30% off that. And I think it brings the rate down to $25 a month. And so you have those two options there. Let's see. Clocktree is a little bit more, and their rates have changed. So I think their lowest rate right now is $28. If you are wanting to use something like Simple Practice, I believe they're $49 or $59. And then telehealth would be an additional $10 per practitioner. Intake Q is similar, $59 a month with an additional $10 per practitioner. And then there are a plethora of other platforms out there: Anywhere Healthcare, Therex Portal, PT Everywhere. What's another good one? Physio. So there are quite a few platforms out there that are doing really amazing things with a lot of great features. So it's just a matter of seeing what's out there, seeing what appeals to you, and trying it out.
That's awesome. I love it. And then you have some actual courses on helping people determine if they're going to be insurance based or if they're going to be cash based, and helping people kind of get off the ground, right?
Yeah. So I have a masterclass, which is kind of an hour and a half long session that I've done with clinicians in groups and so on, that people can go ahead and purchase. I also have the telehealth taster. Over the last year and a half to 2 years, I've consulted with practices and independent clinicians and so on who want to get set up in telehealth. And over that time, I've compiled a list of the most popular questions, because these are the questions that everyone asks. It doesn't matter. Every single one of them asks the questions. And so I've compiled that list of questions and done videos for each of those questions and to answer each of those questions and turn that into an online program. And then the other thing that I also have is the Zero to Telehealth program, which is for those who want to take a deep dive beyond the taster, beyond the masterclass. It is a 4-week program that covers, everything from your setup to your scheduling platforms. Look, on the low end, just getting some scheduling, your payment, a telehealth platform like Zoom or Doxy, versus, doing a bigger setup or using an integrated platform, looking at the legalities, much of which continues to change. So we have to continue to be vigilant with that, looking at organic and inorganic marketing for your practice and how you can optimize those things, looking at your workflow, looking at how to utilize wellness within a practice, and creating other content for your customers, because this is a really easy way to disseminate content. So creating things that your customers can find beneficial and that they can use throughout. As a member of the Zero to Telehealth program, you also get the telehealth taster for free. It's included in there. You also get email copies, so that intro email that you send to your clients right after they schedule for that first session, and then some follow-up emails. You also get the document package, which contains your intake form, your consent, cancellation, no-show policy, payment policy, e-communication, as well as your super bill. And then you also get one-on-one coaching with me. So you get 2 sessions with that package, all wrapped up together. So, and then you can always do independent sessions with me for consulting as well. So I've got quite a few options available for individuals if they want, maybe they I'm still kind of on the fence. You can get the masterclass or the taster. If they're like, I want to do a deep dive, let's go for it, because they also have the coaching sessions there. And if they don't want to do any of that and they want to forego that and just say, hey, I want you to walk me through this, let's jump on a Zoom call, let's walk through this together, then I can do that as well.
That's crucial. And you have already done the hard work. You have already looked at how do we cover ourselves? How do we stay safe? How do we protect ourselves and our assets and still help people in new ways? And I think that the changes in our economy right now are just such a perfect example of why it's so important to have different avenues of revenue stream for ourselves. We have so much knowledge. We all went to school for so long and we have so much to give. And so being able to offer it in different manners, I think it's just, it's a service that we have to give ourselves too, not just the patient. So I think it's really lovely what you've done. Where should people go to look at these different courses that you have available? If
you're interested, you can just go to my website, www.jmmhealthsolutions.com. I'm actually updating the page as we speak, so all that stuff will be on there. And, for those who are also listening to this, next week, I have secured attorney Gwen Simons, who also happens to be a board certified PT and fellow, who will be talking on all things legal, telehealth, healthcare, COVID-19. So we will be doing that.
A PT and an attorney?
Yeah, she's OCS and fellow, FAAOMPT. Yep.
That is amazing.
Oh, she's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So who better to explain the legal aspects, than somebody who truly understands what we do, who we are, what we need,
Yeah. Somebody that knows what clinic life is truly like. Yeah. That's amazing. And what our skill sets are. That's great. Anything else that you'd like us to know?
No, check out the website. All the information is there. Contact me if you need me. Happy to help.
Perfect. Great. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about like once you get your telehealth practice up and running in whatever regards, like Joanne said, whether it's just to get you through this time or whether it's going to be for the long haul and something that you do, of how you can use Intimate Rose pelvic floor devices to help guide your patient in some self-care and some self-treatment along the way. Whether it's a patient that you've already seen that you do not want to backslide and that you want to keep progressing towards your goals, or whether it's somebody new to you that you cannot do a full evaluation on. You know, we know like there are things that simply cannot be done. We cannot do an external and internal exam via our computer.
Mm-hmm.
So starting with the vaginal weights here, all of our products are made in medical grade silicone, BPA free. The vaginal weights start at 25 grams and go to 125 grams. And the way that I use these in a telehealth realm, in a telehealth manner, is if I have a patient who I am suspicious, given their symptoms, of having underactive pelvic floor dysfunction, and I'm not hearing any instances of pain, urinary hesitancy, anything that would, give me concern that they may be having bladder incontinence or fecal incontinence because of an overactive or pelvic floor, strain kind of manner. I use the Kegel weights to help them learn immediately what activation versus deactivation is. You can train both using the weight, because if they put it into their vagina and they bear down when you're intending to educate them in a lift maneuver, the weight is going to come out of their body and it's instantaneous feedback. And with the 25 grams, even a person who is very, very weak, even a person who is, say, like a 0 or a 1 or a 2 on a scale of 5, if you get them in a quadruped position, so say they put it into the vagina and we get them in the quadruped position. I've got my pelvis here. I'm going to take out the organs. And also having a pelvis that you can help educate them is really, really nice. But here they are, boom, they're in quadruped position. The weight is in their vagina. Then they're not moving against gravity, but the weight is tipped into the anterior pelvic floor muscle, oftentimes where we're experiencing incoordination or weakness with urinary incontinence. And we educate them to do a Kegel. So they're working on pulling it up and into their body here if they're in this plane. That's also really good feedback. They're getting the pressure on the anterior pelvic floor, and they're not getting some of the, maybe we'll call it morale effects of like if they were up against gravity and unable to support the 25 grams. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like much, but it's amazing how it could feel in a really weak patient. So we can put them in quadruped. We can put them in the seated position where they have that nice support under the perineum, and they can practice activating and deactivating here. Also, if we are trying to teach them both, if we suspect that they do have a coordination issue and we want them to not only be able to do a Kegel or activate the pelvic floor, but we want them to be able to bulge, that's a really nice cue. This is not going to be enough to strain them, but they can practice bulging down and letting the Kegel weight come down even just halfway, replace it in, and come back down again. And they can practice drop and bulge with this. We can practice some deactivation. The other thing is they can very easily progress themselves. It's kind of like similar to TheraBand, where as the color purple gets darker, the weight gets heavier. So they're able to get some feedback on their own that they are getting stronger. As they are getting stronger, they are able to stand up and be upright against gravity. They can put the weight in and do some functional home exercises, like we're going to see in Vanessa's program. Like we're still working on goals. Maybe we're still advising them in some exercises they can do. And with the weight in, they're still getting that biofeedback of, am I maintaining a pelvic floor activation while I bend over to pick up this laundry and those kinds of things. So they can just gently kind of progress their way up. And that way too, if there is distance in between visits because of life and those kinds of things, that they are still able to kind of push on and progress on, even if we cannot have that constant communication with them. So really great for underactive patients that are very, very low tone, all the way up through very, very fit women who are looking to be able to return to CrossFit if the gyms ever open up. But we can train them in how to have the weight in and be doing some skipping and these kinds of things. We don't want them to put it in and go for a run or anything like that, but just to be able to do some dynamic hopping and be able to maintain the weight in is a really nice thing. So busy moms, really active females that are looking to be able to withstand that high pressure. They are going to get some movement of the pelvic floor as they're moving through. So we're not worried about them constantly gripping, and we don't want the weight in greater than 10 to 15 minutes. So when you're thinking about your program, let's make it tight and like really efficient, and then get the weight out so that they are not overly sore or strained. The literature on these ranges from having them have it in for 15 to 20 minutes, 1 to 2 sessions per day. There's actually some really interesting lit about overactive bladder, where the patients were using it 20 minutes twice a day, and there were like great outcomes. It was more efficient in treating the overactive bladder than the medications, and there were no negative outcomes. So something to consider with the vaginal weights. And then another big question that I get is, how do we instruct wand usage when we can't touch them and show them where their trigger points are? So if you have somebody that is in a lot of pain that you suspect might do well to be able to do some self-trigger point release, we can start them by doing some self-exploration. One finger in the vagina or in the rectum, just gently sweeping through. So if they're in their pelvis here, we can kind of educate them, come into the vagina here, and just gently sweeping under the pubic bone. So teaching them that they're going to come and hook under, sweeping out to the sides. Now, given that it's going to be hard for them to reach in many cases to the deep parts, but once they have a general idea, then the thing that I always tell them is, regardless of what we're using, whether it's a finger or a dilator or a wand, we're never ever going to push any harder with that thing than we would use to check a tomato for ripeness. So when they're coming in and first starting to use the wand, we want to keep them safe and instruct them really, really gentle. Practice on your hand, practice on your tummy, practice what tomato touch feels like. And then we can use either end to come in, and because they don't know where their trigger points are, maybe we haven't evaluated them and we don't know either, but they can gently sweep through that pelvic floor until they find something that's painful. So I instruct them to sweep through, find a trigger point, tomato touch, so we're still being really gentle. And then I instruct them to move their hip into internal rotation or external rotation. And, you know, we have these nice cameras, so we can even like lay down and demonstrate kind of like a windshield wiper, bring the leg out to the side until you find a point that's not painful anymore. And you're going to hold it there. So with that leg rotated out to the side, we're essentially shortening the muscle, getting a little trigger point release, hold for 1 to 2 minutes, and then keep going and sweep through. I think that there's positive benefit from just the stimulation of gentle sweeping. We do not need to go in there and ram on those trigger points, just like we would never do manually anyways. But sometimes we can get people into a much more stable state just by being able to do some gentle massage, even if they're not coming in, identifying a trigger point and moving on. But, you know, we get these people too that are maybe healthcare providers themselves, or maybe they're just really, really motorically great people that can identify on their own, so that they can go through too. And for ours, teal is a vibration wand and purple is still. So that is how I instruct those. And then for dilators, we all have kind of our own spiel. And I think it's pretty easily usually to instruct in dilator training via telehealth. If we have a patient that is presenting with pain with penetration, they have goals of being able to tolerate a tampon or a medical exam or intercourse. One way that I have them measure before they order, if I'm not in front of them and I'm not able to kind of do a manual exam and determine what their capacity is within the vaginal vault, I'll have them start with their pinky. And if they're unable to get their pinky into their vagina, they're going to start with the small kit. This guy is right in here. So we know right away if they cannot tolerate a pinky, they're starting here. And we're starting with gentle around the introitus, clock-like mobilization using our smallest, which is about the size of my pinky, just moving through, and then they can gently progress through. It takes time. I would warn them right away, you know, dilator training, especially in the absence of some good one-on-one manual therapy and maybe some biofeedback training, can take time. It may take a few weeks in between dilators. Some people might zip right through immediately, but it can take some time. If they are able to tolerate pinky, I have them go through and check pointer finger. And then, so you can see yellow is a little bit bigger than my pointer finger. And then if they can tolerate 2, then they can move on to purple and blue. So usually it's helpful to have the 4-pack, but if they're saying like, I only want to start with 1 or 2, or maybe if their goal is simply to be able to tolerate a medical exam, we just need them around what a speculum can do. If sex is like not of interest to them right now, we just need to focus on having a medical exam. They can just buy them individually based off of, again, kind of measuring with their fingers. If their goal is intercourse and they can tolerate fingers, but they cannot tolerate penetration, I have them measure their partner with a tape measure, a flexible tape measure, to get the length and the width at the base where the penis tends to be the thickest. And that way we know where we need to get to, and they can think about purchasing based off of that. So we have a medium pack and then the large 4-pack here. And I'll show you what that looks like. So a lot of you have these already. So from there, we're determining where they are versus where they need to be to determine if they need to get the whole 8 or if they just need something in the middle. But from there, we're just working on educating them in how to drop and relax the pelvic floor and how to breathe, putting them through a breathing protocol, and then using the dilator gently 15 to 20 minutes a day. So working towards their goals there. We also have a dilator handle. So if you have patients that have dexterity issues, this is really, really nice. They can just secure, it comes with bands, and they secure their dilator onto their handle so that they can manipulate it better. So with Intimate Rose, many of you already have your clinician sample kits. And if you don't already, please go to intimaterose.com and go to clinician samples. I'm going to screen share really quick here and show you what that looks like right here. So it's under the clinician. So if you go to our community and go to clinician samples, it's right here, and you can apply it, and I'll send you free sample sets of all of our products so that you can have them in clinic. And then also under guides and resources, I have written out guides for each device. So if you go to how to use a Kegel weight, there's a whole guide here. There's videos, and each device essentially has its own guide. So how to use a dilator, how to use pelvic floor release. These are always here to have your back. So after you deliver your instructions to your patient, sometimes they kind of forget, or maybe they didn't have the recorded session, or they didn't take good notes. So these are always here to help your patients. So how to use a dilator here, pelvic floor release under videos. If you go to videos, you can select what the issue is and find any video that you want on that. There's over 100 videos here. So it's here to be at your service. And then I'm always here and available to answer any questions as well. So this is how to use tools during telehealth visits. Do you girls have any questions for me? Okay. All right. Vanessa is the founder and CEO and president and all things wonderful about Pelvic Hep. She has a fantastic component of all the different exercises that we use with our patients, and she's going to tell us about her platform.
Yes, so Pelvic HEP is basically an online women's pelvic health specific home exercise program, and it's designed specifically to assist any type of pelvic health services for physical therapy. One of the things that's unique to our platform is not only do we have exercises, we also offer products and patient education handouts. And I'm going to be able to show you a little bit about that. But some of the features, we have lots of people using our platform doing telehealth, and some of the features that people are really happy and excited about is the ability that all of the text within our platform is modifiable. So that goes for any of the education. If you're using any of the product information, you can add specifically to tailor it to your patient. And then same thing goes for the exercise piece as well. The descriptions you can take away, use what you want, specifically so you can tailor it to your patients. In addition, the home exercise program is emailed specifically to the patient. We also offer video share now, where if you have a Vimeo or if you have a YouTube link, You can then share that with your patient. So a lot of people are really liking that, so they can share some videos, and then that link is clickable through the share via email. You can also prescribe, like I said, products, and we're finding, similar to like what Amanda was saying, is compliance with having those products on there, because the products that we have on there, basically the product owner has given us all of the details how to use those safely for your patients, which makes it really easy for us to give those to the patients and ensure that not only are they using them, but they're using them safely and the way that they're intended to be used. In addition, you can create and use reuse templates that you've used. So in my practice with telehealth, what I've done over the last couple days is just create some templates. So I have some for postpartum, some for pelvic pain, some for, and what I'm doing is I'm reusing those and kind of editing them as I'm with the patient, or even before I meet with the patient. So then I can efficiently use that time and spend a little more one-on-one time with them. So I'll show you a couple of those. I also have some of the clients of ours using them for, say, like a online telehealth or like an online workshop, where they may be doing a workshop and it might be with 4 or 5 people, or maybe even 15, 20 people. And maybe they're educating them on pelvic organ prolapse per se. And maybe they're using our platform to create some handouts for their patients or clients that they can then email after. And maybe it has exercises, maybe it has, some products on there. In addition, some of the PTs are using it for if they're doing maybe a live, that's an exercise-based live, and it might be like a 30-minute class, and they're giving some home exercises. So maybe it's a live and they're doing a prenatal live video, and then they're sending after, they're able to give those clients some home exercises to work on until that next live happens. So some great other ways that we can utilize it via online, just with the times that we have. I wanted to take some time to screen share and just show you a couple examples.
Yes, let's see it.
So I did a pelvic organ prolapse. This is one that shows some education. So this is an education piece here. Here is one of the Intimate Rose products that we have. And then we have 2 little prolapse relief positioning. So this is what the patient would see when you send it to them. And then any additional instructions you could put up top here. We have another pelvic pain protocol that I made with the wand, specifically giving instructions on how to use the wand, the safe use of the wand. I have slippery stuff on there to utilize with the wand, instruction of what overactive pelvic floor muscle is, what causes it, and then some stretches that they would do in addition. And then we have another pain with sex protocol that also has the dilators and the handle, and then some stretching that the patient would then do along with the program. So we are just currently trying to facilitate telehealth in any way, shape, or form that we can, really just to ensure that you can continue to help your clients, your businesses, your community. And we've really felt passionate about just making a big discount to allow that to happen. So we have discounted it to $25 for a 6-month subscription to ensure that you can utilize the platform and really just be able to help your patients in the way that they need.
Absolutely. And it's so user friendly. I've been using it for a few months now, and it's so nice to be able to add in your own parameters. But a lot of them too, as I'm going through, I'm seeing things that are brilliant that were not a part of my practice that now I'm implementing too. So it's really lovely to see like other exercises that other clinicians are doing and have thought of as well. Like it's just a really nice way to broaden and open up, and so slick, because click, 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 and you email it to your patient. There's no printing and handing, that would even get lost anyways. But it's very slick. I love it so much. And where do people go to? Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're fine. No, I was going to say, and one of the big things is we can translate. You have the ability
yes.
to use Google Translate, which is huge. So I've had Spanish speaking clients and I can speak Spanish, but it's a pain in the butt to have to go give them exercises. And then I've got to sit there and just like cut and paste and Google Translate so I can cut and paste and put it back in, and it's all done for you. So it's a beautiful thing because now you can reach more people. You can service more people. It's amazing.
That's a really good point.
Yes.
Yeah. And Vanessa, where do people go to learn more about Pelvic Hep?
So pelvichep.com is our website. If you're wanting to do a virtual demo, we have on our IGTV on Instagram, Pelvic HEP. And then if you're wanting to take advantage of the offer, if you go and click the link in my bio on Pelvic HEP Instagram, you'll get the coupon code for that offer.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Is there anything else that you'd like us to know?
No.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You can reach all of us at the websites that we've identified. I'm at www.intimaterose.com. You can reach me at amanda@intimaterose.com. And I am so grateful for all of you. And I think that there's going to be just a new method of helping people moving forward. So I'm excited to see what people come up with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great.
All right.